Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to Mirchi Mocha. I'm Alicia, your cozy mocha, here to bring the popcorn and the plot twists.
And here, I'm Preeti, your fiery Mirchi, always ready to judge a movie and by its trailer and roast a bad ending.
This is the podcast where two besties spill the tea on everyday things with a little spice and a little sweetness and lots of laughter.
And today we are talking movies, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and the ones we only watch because someone forced us.
So, whether you're a rom com rewatcher, a Bollywood buff, or someone who still hasn't seen Sholay, we won't judge. Okay, maybe a little. This episode's for you.
So grab your coffee, your nachos, and your most dramatic opinions. Let's get into it.
All right, Preeti, movie time.
I
Our
know.
absolute favorite topic. We can literally talk about this for hours and hours and hours.
Exactly. We can really talk about anything. That's a different story. But movies, like how I feel like how we are growing, our taste in movies changing too. Don't you
Big
agree?
time, big
Right?
time, big time.
Um,
I really feel like it's amazing that you're talking about this because I recently rewatched a movie that I had watched years back, and this was Bunty and Bubbly. And back then, when I'd watched it, I was like, oh my God, this is such a good movie. I
right?
love
The
it.
cute
It's so
moments.
funny. Cringe. The cringe is so real when it comes to watching movies that I used to think I'm obsessed with. But now when I watch it again, I'm like,
I know.
what?
Doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
That
And
time,
then
I think we were younger and we were hoping those kind of moments in our life.
I.
Now we are at a point where like, nahi hone wala hai. This is not real. This is like, this is
Now we're
very
wiser.
wiser
A
and
little bit. A
yeah,
little bit wiser,
and
but a little
we
bit.
are more practical. We are like, okay, there's no damsel in distress, there's no prince charming,
You are your own Prince Charming. That's the bottom line of the
I
story. Is
know.
that you have to come rescue yourself. You are your own Prince Charming. Don't wait for the perfect situation. And don't be a people pleaser. I think
Exactly.
the one thing that I feel like Indian cinema hopefully has changed over the years is how they portray the heroine, the main protagonist, as a woman who's like such a people pleaser, the perfect bahu, the perfect mother, the perfect sacrificial wife, blah, blah, blah. And
I think
that evolution into a realistic woman, which I'm like really happy about.
I think yeah, they are showing more shades of women, the change and the independence, the financial independence, and not caring about the world. And also they are able to show the emotions of the trauma, like how we are coping with it, right? Even though it's not like to the T, but still,
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say it's much better than what it was. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ghungat wali bahu and sabko namaste kehne wali has gone from there to people cursing and smoking on the screen and having sex with random men, I guess,
Yeah,
which
and
is
not
not
that
the
that's
true
the cool
portrayal.
thing. It's not that like, it's cool to do all of these things and it's uncool to be the ghungat wali bahu. That's not the point. The point is he not too long ago even, this was when we were like in college or whatever, the quintessential heroine, even in something like what was that Kuch Kuch Hota Hai also, if you think about it,
The tomboy Kajol was
the
rejected first.
tomboy was considered like, oh, no,
You
no,
are
no,
my.
unless
He put
she
her in a bro
becomes
zone
a goody goody sweet girl with her
for
dupatta
long
and sari,
hair. Yeah.
then she's eligible to fall in love with the hero.
And then
If not, the tomboy girls are always rejected,
forget
which is
about
such
that
a stupid
movie.
concept. Like now that I think about it, like come on.
There's a movie where Saif Ali Khan, Deepika Padukone, and
Cocktail. I
Diane Fenty,
Cocktail, that
Cocktail. I
movie,
mean, like
yeah.
that was a low blow, I felt. Like Deepika, she is fun. She's somebody she's not a whore in my eyes. She was
Exactly.
a fun, crazy, wild character. And Saif, was dating her, and then he went to her best friend.
Who
And
was like
that is
this
not
sweet
okay.
little mummy ko pasand hai type of girl. I know,
Exactly.
and you
His
mummy ko
opinion
pasand hai
changed
kyunki she
based on
doesn't
what his
party.
mother was saying, based on what his mother liked. I'm like, dude. मतलब वही होता है ना कि you want a girlfriend who is fun, crazy, wild, but you want to bring a homely girl home to introduce to your parents.
I know, which
You
is
know?
such a like a non-progressive way of thinking, right? Like it compartmentalizes you so much into like, oh, if you want a husband, you must be a goody girl who listens to everything, who's like very non-provocative, like
Yeah.
enough already,
You
enough
basically listen
already.
to
Be
your parents
yourself.
and
Be yourself.
yeah.
It's
No,
very ridiculous to
it is.
want to
I think they should
box
ban
yourself.
the cocktail movie. I hated it so much um when he leaves Deepika for that girl.
I
And
know.
Deepika goes crazy. She goes into that binge drinking phase, and she literally turns herself into something she was not. And I felt really bad for her. I felt like
I
that's
know.
so sad. Like she's losing her identity for the guy.
I
Uh,
actually really liked that movie because I could totally feel for Deepika. I could feel for her. Like it was so unfair. And it was so sad that in the end, even they showed this idea of like eventually he settles for the goody goody girl and the tomboyish girl has to, or not tomboyish, but the free spirited girl has to take the back seat and like, oh,
you're
learned
not,
her lesson
yeah,
in life kind of thing, which is so, it was so upsetting for me because what?
yeah. I
What
know.
kind of
I was not
nonsense is
happy
that?
about that.
That was
I
that was
think
not, yeah.
Bollywood, Tollywood, like Indian movies are more about I think things are changing, but they
Yeah.
have a tendency of showing hero. Hero is somebody hero. I don't know, everybody is a hero, right? You, me, everyone is a hero of our own life.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I cannot watch Indian movies that much. Not that
Yeah.
I'm not saying all the movies are bad. No, there are movies that I really watch. I love watching different language. I watch movies with subtitles. I like something that is more relatable, that is more
Yeah.
natural, that is more real, right? So
Realistics. Yeah. So
realistic.
important.
Um, so I feel like when it comes to Bollywood, it's all processed.
And I feel like they over dumb down the movies for your audience. So,
Yeah,
like, they almost underestimate the intelligence of the audience in terms of, like, even if it's a thriller, especially if it's like a thriller movie or a murder mystery, what would have in Hollywood been like a very quick transition, like
yeah.
the expectation for of the director for the audience is like, jaldi se you'll fatak se you'll come to know what the whole story is, and just a quick clip that is so dumbed down in the Indian world. Like, oh, really explicitly explained 5 times just to ensure कि आपको पता चल गया क्या story है, क्या कौन villain है, कौन
There
ये,
are
which is
so
like
many movies I don't watch because trailer dekh ke I can guess the movie story.
whole movie,
Yeah.
right?
So
Only the good parts of the movie are already in the trailer. You have watched it, it's done
we're
now. I
done.
know, I agree with
And I
you.
have a tendency of doing fast forward or reading the plot on wiki to save my hours.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm bad that way. But if you compare the international movie scenes, right? I feel like nowadays I'm watching Korean movies and dramas,
Yeah,
and I feel like when I look at it, definitely Korean dramas are also hyped up. But when
yeah.
they are like a mix of what do you call it? They are a mix of Malayalam movies. Like they
Oh,
when they have to show the core um,
rawness. Malayalam
rawness,
movies
they will
have
show
those
that
raw, it's so raw, it's so real. It's almost like you're literally sneaking, peeking into the
somebody's
life of a real
yeah,
person. It's so
exactly,
realistic.
exactly.
The
They don't
heroines are
have
not like
full of
beautiful and all
makeup.
that. Yeah.
They are wearing natural clothes that you and I will wear, right? Something that is available, something you can say, "अरे यार ये मैंने सिलवाया था when I was young,"
या ये मुझे
right?
पता है ऐसी लड़की like I
Yes,
know a girl
I
like this,
know.
she's exactly like this, no
So
makeup, no, like
a
their
minimal
skin,
makeup,
you can
it's
see the
not that
pimples on their face
yeah,
all.
you can see the pores. So I feel like the Korean dramas are really really good aesthetically. Uh,
Yeah,
And again, I like psychological thriller types of movies, something which is like very unpredictable, right? If it's
Yeah.
predictable, I don't want to watch it. As simple as that. Predictability है तो मुझे नहीं देखना है.
बोर हो जाता है,
It is
I
like this
know.
guy उड़ता हुआ आ रहा है. There are Audis, there are Mercedes. किसके पास है भाई? मेरे पास नहीं है. मेरे पहचान में कोई नहीं है जो उड़ते हुए आता है. There is nobody, right?
I agree. Even the
Yeah.
beauty standards, right? Right? Like if you think about the Indian movie beauty standards, they are unrealistic. Like,
Very.
have you ever met anyone in real life who looks as good as the Bollywood actors? It's
I mean,
unbelievably, like they're
there are
unbelievably
people, but
gorgeous.
I think we have a mold, and they have a mold. They carry a mold, and they make you. They Are you fitting in that mold or not? Like you have this skinny nose, you have fair skin,
Fair skin,
big
tall,
eyebrows, you have this
skin.
round eyebrows. So for many years, I was like, round, mere straight hai yaar, mere, mujhe. So it was very Mira nose, button nose. Hai. I don't have that skinny nose, right? So
Yeah.
for Indian standards, I'm not pretty. And that's okay. I don't care.
And Indian standards of beauty are unrealistic. Like there's a handful of people who are pretty, so you have to be gory. Fair is so
Okay.
important even today, right? Like if you think
Yeah.
about it,
You should
it's
go to
getting a little bit
matrimonial
better.
site to check out what is the nowadays what's trending, because they will write, I want a skinny no, I want a fair, slim, tall,
Tall, fair,
tall.
slim,
I'm like,
tall needs to be the magic trinity
yeah,
for a success, for a woman to be successful in Indian society. These are the three quintessential items that you need to have. You need to be fair, you need to be tall, you need
talk
to be
about the
skinny.
matrimonial things. I have so many stories to tell. Not that, like, I used to visit that site and read, and I was like, seriously, कभी खुद का चेहरा देखा है आईने में?
I know, but this is where it comes from, right? Like it's the Indian movies that propagate this like standard of perfectionistic
Yes,
beauty that like okay then like that's what you need to be like
because that's
considered
what they
beautiful.
think it's normal, and that's what they think that's what you're brought up with, right? Puri life, Katrina Kaif, Madhuri Dixit, and all these people, and you cannot relate yourself with them, right? But now I think that the cinema is changing. They are letting people, but still, they are
Very
not
small margin of that.
very, yeah,
But
still
Chalna, it's at least one step now. Like
one
it's
step. Yes,
baby
they
steps, right?
are
Baby
trying
steps.
to.
I agree. Even the concept, like one thing that I absolutely feel so uncomfortable about that Indian movies especially propagate is toxic masculinity. If you
Exactly.
think about these
Talking.
certain movies where it's considered like really sexy if the guy is like extremely hot tempered or extremely possessive about the girl or extremely like can get violent to like, get the girl in his control and what not, to me that just is such a massive cringe. And even now like there are so many movies that have become super hit which are very focused on this toxic masculinity and like oh
I
my
know what you're
god
talking
the
about,
guy.
but I don't know. I think the girl, like we talked about bichari versus bitch, right? So it's up to you, right?
Yeah,
What you are accepting. If the partner is accepting that behavior, that's fine, right? You are the person who has to
yeah,
tolerate it. If that
yeah,
person cannot talk back, stand up for herself, then the guy, it doesn't matter if it's guy or a girl, it's gonna work out for them.
yeah,
It's up to you.
totally.
It's the individual. We cannot say that's bad, because in that movie, the girl took the chata, right? She took that and she was like okay with it.
Yeah,
I feel like it's up to you. You have to stand up for yourself, nobody else. We cannot. There are no
completely.
standards. Like we try to put everybody in the boxes. Like, oh, this is a good guy, this is a bad guy. No, you
Everybody
have to
shades of
be.
gray,
Yes,
shades of gray.
you have to be that
And
person.
you set your own thresholds, like even if you are dating a saint who is ultra perfect, if you allow your boundaries to slip, if you allow yourself to be taken for granted, you will be taken for granted no
Yes.
matter how perfect the guy is. And these are some of these like flavors of reality that I'd love to watch more in Indian television, I feel like.
I think how the people get manipulated by these standards is what I feel sad about, because not everybody, like, unless you suffer, you are not gonna know, right? So you
Yeah.
need to kind of, you build your boundaries or things like that with experience, I feel.
Yeah.
But again,
That is so
forget
true.
about that. Let's talk about the movies. We are going off topic again.
We
Um,
love going off topic.
we
I love
do.
how every episode starts with something, there's a massive tangent, and then we come back to the original topic, which is our
Yeah,
trademark
we are.
moves.
So, but I think recently there are a lot of there was this Malayalam movie. I forgot the name. It's about a father who has Alzheimer's disease, and the son is taking care of the father, and they lost a gun, and their grandson is missing, and it was such a beautiful movie, because in India we
Nice.
don't know. Yeah, it's a very slow paced, but, and again, I love Malayalam movies because the aesthetics is so pretty, like
I
the
agree.
and
It's very
and they
realistic.
are, and the, if you look at the heroine, oh, she looks
So
just like us.
natural, right? Like I
Like
love
if
that.
I am how I'm at home, right, without makeup, right,
Yeah, I totally agree. I
with my
feel that
hair
we about
tied up and wearing a kurta with the jeans, or relaxed state, right?
Yeah,
You don't feel
totally.
like, you said, you're watching somebody, you're peeking into somebody's life. It was like that.
True,
It was a
true.
movie about, these days people are talking about Alzheimer's and dementia, which when I was growing up, when I was studying, when I read, I'm like, kya hota hai? Bhool jate hain. They forget what's such a big deal about it, right? But it's different.
Yeah.
When I came here, when I started practicing, I realized, oh, it's a beast that we don't know. We call India mein, "Are buddha satya gaya hai." You know how
It's a rough disease. I know,
yeah.
like at some
So
point everybody goes through, like if you are unfortunate enough, you know someone who's gone through it, and it's such a rough disease.
it
I
is,
cannot even
and
imagine.
there was another movie on it. There's this girl. What's her name, yaar? She's in that Delhi Crimes. Uh,
Shefali Chaya.
Shefali Chaya. Uska movie
I love Chaya Nisha hai abhi wo, I think
Shah.
she's Shefali Shah. She is such an elite actress. There are such actresses like this, a very like specific set of actresses who are beyond their beauty. They're known for their like real acting
Yes.
skills. I feel like Shefali Shah
Three
is
of Us.
totally
Have
one
you
of
watched the
those.
Three of Us? That's
I
another
don't think I
movie.
have. I
Very,
should
very.
totally check it out.
You should.
And
You
audiences, you guys should also check out this movie. If we're getting recommendations from Preeti, that means it
should.
must be amazing.
No, she is.
I, I, yeah,
It's a very good movie, and the emotions. Oh, she
she
portrayed it
is
so
really
well.
amazing in that. I've heard a bit about the three of
Three
us.
of Us,
I've
right?
heard like
It's a
good
very
things
good.
about that
But
movie.
that's
That's
the thing, right?
certainly on
Those
my
are the
list.
movies that should get national awards.
Yeah. Those are the
Those are
movies
the
that people
movies
should be pushing for. But I
paying
feel like
for
there
it
is
in
a
the
very
theater.
limited, there's a very limited audience who appreciate such movies, which is unfortunate because like a lot of Indian society is so brainwashed into the classic, like big ticket heroes ka movies and like CT Marana on these like uncle looking actors, which like, come on, like when are you going to retire, uncles? Like I just
I know they want all like 30. They want to play with girls who are their nieces' ages, or
I know their daughters each is younger than their daughters, which
you know.
like to me is such a cringe.
But that's
Like,
the
oh
thing,
my
right?
God, so cringe.
Our audience want that, and they are giving
Yeah,
it.
because
And
they're loyal followers. They're
yeah,
loyal
it's
followers.
everywhere. It's in throughout the Indian cinema. It's very
Completely.
prominent like that. And luckily, in some of the movies, they are transitioning. Like they are
That's which
going
is
for more,
yeah,
So especially in the Malayalam movies, I think they are transitioning. They are not doing like those hero movies anymore. They
anymore.
are trying. There are still like Rajinikanth is still a hero. Nothing bad about it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I'm
you know,
sure like it's
but
there is a certain audience who enjoys that,
yeah.
and no shade on that. That's totally fine. I feel that
Uh,
way about Marathi movies also. Like I feel like Marathi movies are
oh yeah,
such good movies, like
there are
so
many,
underrated. The
many, many.
actors are so underrated. The whole concept, the direction is so good as compared. And I love my Hindi movies, but like what I feel about Marathi movies is there are so many of them that are incredible. We recently watched a movie, and my husband, who's not even Maharashtrian, found a movie that he found off based off he has a very analytical system of finding movies, which we'll talk about that. That's a topic for another day. But he found this movie which we watched, and I was just like, oh my God, how is this not mainstream famous? And I'm gonna drop the link to that movie in the messages or in the description of our channel. But it was such a good movie. It was a really good, really well made thriller that had some of these really big ticket heroes in it. It was so well directed. I really like that movie.
I
And
even
I
feel like Sairat when you see it in Marathi,
Khairat was mainstream famous though. Like that
but
was the
because it
one movie
became
that became
so
mainstream
good,
famous.
I was
It
not
was
expecting. We have
incredible
5 minutes
acting,
left.
right?
Yes, incredible acting and the storyline that made me cry, and it's sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me your
Absolutely.
last top 5 movies or dramas that you watched and you wanna suggest.
Oh my God. Okay. So the top five movies that I've watched, the recent one, okay, I'm not going to give you top five. I'm going to give you maybe top two because mom life, I don't get the time to watch
That's
that many
fine.
movies as much. But the recent amazing movie that I watched was Sinners. And it is such a good movie. This is not a Hindi movie. This is obviously an English movie. It has vampires, and I'm a horror buff. It's like something that I, chef's kiss, absolutely love horror, the genre. I know not a lot of people love it, but I absolutely love it. And it was a very like movie that was centered around, or it was very inclusive of the African American population. And it had Michael J. What was his name yet? Oh my
Okay,
God.
so we need to be better at it next time.
I know. I really need to, my brain.
Okay,
B. Jordan, of
Jordan,
course.
that's what I thought.
Michael B. Jordan, such a good looking guy. Oh my God, he's so handsome, so good at his acting. It's such a good movie. What I loved about that movie is how it kind of broke the stereotypes, because there's this protagonist, the actress in that movie. She isn't a skinny looking girl who's like overexposing herself. She's in modest clothing, quite like,
I'm gonna watch
curvaceous,
that movie.
big. Yeah, you gotta watch it. And she was such a flaw. She carried the movie. She
Really?
carried the whole movie. It was such a fantastic movie. I really loved it. So
Ooh,
if you are a horror movie buff, you must watch it. And it was this
I
like
am
very
not, but
interesting
I will
twist
watch it
on,
on mute.
yeah, absolutely. What about you? What is your like latest really interesting movie that you watched?
Um, Interesting movie. Oh, I'm not a movie person, so I think I'm into series these days. So I'm watching. The last one was When Life Gives You Tangerines.
Oh,
That's the one,
nice.
and that shows the life of a woman, of a female, and how she goes from a daughter to mother to granddaughter, like the phases. And I can see that. It was very realistic and it was very true. When you have a daughter and she's getting mistreated by the in-laws, how bad you feel, as a mother. So there are a lot of things that I saw and I felt like, man, that is so touching. It was very good, very good, and it got like Bucksong, Baysong awards. It
Oh,
got the best
nice.
best story or direction, something like that. So that was a very good series.
Cool.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I will
I
say.
think we're close to our time, unfortunately, as much as I
Hey,
love
time is
having our
flying, isn't it? You're
time
not
just
even
flies
saying
by.
much, and it's like ready to wrap up.
That's what
Okay,
happens when you're
guys.
chatting with your besties.
Yes. And that's a wrap. Like the end credits rolling on today's movie themed episode of Mirchi and Mocha.
We've laughed, we've ranted, and we've made a few judgments on some questionable plots. All in all, a good time.
If this episode made you smile, nod, or yell, yes, exactly at your screen, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and leave a comment with your all-time favorite movie or guilty pleasure pick.
And if you disagreed with our opinion, congrats. You're basically ready to start your own podcast.
Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. We got more hot takes and cozy coming your way.
Until
Until
next
next
time,
time.
stay spicy, stay cozy, and stay bestie goals. Bye.
Bye. Bye.